Everything in my life's been a transition. There's never, the only official retirement I've had is that when I came back to Tennessee from New Mexico in 2003, I worked as a consumer safety officer for the USDA inspecting chickens. And so I technically retired after 6.5 years with the USDA. I started out my life in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, living with my parents and grandparents. So I've been gardening and farming since I could walk, really. My family's been involved in gardening and agriculture for generations, I guess, if not forever. My family moved to Roane County when I was 9 years old, and a few years after that, my father bought a farm which eventually became a grade A dairy. Because of pressure of the system, I felt the necessity to go to college. I was working with Senator Al Gore Sr. There was a spot at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy that he would gladly give me if I was interested. Since I'd kind of had a dream to run away and travel the world on a tramp steamer all my life, that seemed to be pretty cool to me, and I took it. I left sailing and started working on a career in New York as a photographic fine artist and investigative and photographic journalist, which I continued for about 25 years. All the while being involved in gardening as much as possible. I think that it was a more severe psychological blow to me leaving the farm than I realized until I was in my 40s or 50s. When I came back to Tennessee from New Mexico, I had in mind the goal of starting this farm. I made the big jump at that point into doing full-time agriculture as my primary income. Primarily at this time, I grow mostly chilies. If I had my way, I would be as diversified as absolutely possible. But financially, the pressure and the lack of help have narrowed my growing down almost exclusively to chilies at this point. The season starts with the year. I start planting chili seed in January in order to have reasonably large chili plants to transplant out as soon as danger of frost goes. Another aspect of it never ends. My Tennessee cherry chili will not grow true from seed. All of the plants that I have are clones, and I have them in hoop houses so that I can protect them from the environment during the winter and keep them growing. I have one bed that's 3 years old, one bed that's 2 years old, and 2 plants that are 6 years old. So it's really a year-round process. It just never ends. That's my motto. In fact, it never ends. I generally grow between 20 and 30 varieties of chilies. The most important to me at this time are 4 that are exclusive to me: Tennessee Cherry Chili, Tennessee Cherry Chili Jr., Ahi Canario, and Ahi Tennessee. I've spent a lot of time researching, looking for chilies, particularly for their flavor. Have quite a few from South America, quite a few from Trinidad. I also grow Tabascos, several varieties of habanero other than the scorpion, the boot jalokia, which is the previous world record heat holding chili, peach habanero, ají dulce, which is a habanero with no heat, Szechuan. Predominantly, I think that's it this year. I market gardened in the 80s off of my family's farm, and I got very involved in growing a large variety of chilies at that time. And I sort of repeated that here. I developed other means of preserving the chilies in order to extend my season. That got me involved in making chili sauces. And making chili sauces got me involved in salt-brine-fermentation chili sauces, which was a discovery that I wish I had made when I was a child. I think that they are one of the most valuable foods on the face of the earth. I'll start out with about 3/4 of a jar full of loosely packed chilies, and then I make a salt brine out of unrefined sea salt and a late season sweet Riesling wine. I add the brine up to about 80% of the level of the chilies, because the chilies will make some of their own liquid. In a day or two, the liquid level will be to the point where you can push down all of the chilies and have them basically submerged in the brine. In the beginning, the buoyancy of the chilies combined with gases that are being produced will make the chilies float, so you've got to be on key pushing them down a couple of times a day. As they begin to deteriorate, they will lose their ability to hold air, and they also begin to match the specific gravity of the salt brine, so they don't have the tendency to float so much anymore. At that point, I will start adding increments of chilies until I have the jar pretty close to full. Then it's just a matter of maintaining it for 6 to 8 weeks, or even longer if preferred. Any time after that, it can be pulled off. And the process goes from there through separating the skin and the seed and diluting with 2 parts organic brown rice vinegar. I'd say 98% of my market is the Market Square Farmers Market in Knoxville. There are a few retail outlets that carry it at this point, and a growing number of restaurants in Knoxville. I also have a website, and maybe once a week or something I make a sale on that as well, and it can be anywhere from California to Switzerland.